Welcome to this edition of the Government News Brief for Wednesday, November 2nd, 2016. In the news, stakeholders in agriculture sector could now expand their markets internationally, media urged to report responsibly on sexual offenses, and East Bank teachers make recommendations on bettering the education system. I am Renetta LaFleur and this is the Government News Brief. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. Here are the details. Stakeholders in agriculture sector are being given assistance to expand their markets internationally. Delicia Haynes has the details.
Minister of Agriculture Noel Holder says his ministry will support farmers, agro-processors, wholesalers, retailers, and exporters by providing advice on the kind of products that are being exported. Minister Holder adds that local agriculture is expanding and measures are being taken to create a sustainable sector. The minister was at the time addressing the gathering at the Guyana Marketing Corporation Stakeholders Forum today.
Creating a sustainable agricultural development path means improving the quality of life in rural areas, ensuring enough food for present and future generations, and generating sufficient income for our farmers, exporters, and agro-processors.
Stakeholders will also be assisted with marketing information and knowledge on organizing themselves with continuous training programs. The Guyana National Bureau of Statistics representative Janet Gill explains how the agency assists stakeholders.
We're offering different services. And one of the services that we're offering, we have 23 agriculture standards and 6 agro-processing standards. So we're here to help the farmers, to tell them that we have standards so that their produce or their product can be certified to our standards.
Business Development Officer, Ministry of Social Protection, Rhonda Nelson, says that ministry's input is to assist underprivileged persons in accessing small business loans.
We offer low-interest loans to persons who are already in business for at least a year. We have 2 programs. One is the Women of Work, which is for single-parent females, and one is for People of Work, Entrepreneurial Resources, or POWER, which is for single-parent male and couples, married or unmarried.
In closing, Minister Holder noted that today's forum will also aid in establishing a market for local non-traditional crops. For the Government News Brief, I am Delicia Haynes.
Recognizing the critical role the media plays in reporting sexual offenses, the Ministry of Social Protection hosted a sensitization workshop on the Sexual Offences Act. More in this Paul McAdam report.
The Gender Affairs Bureau of the Ministry of Social Protection facilitated the sensitization of media personnel workshop. Manager of the Gender Affairs Bureau, Jason Shepard, said it seeks to clarify how reporting is done in relation to the Sexual Offences Act.
We want to ensure that aspects of the sexual offences and the domestic violence acts are repeated, that certain sections are made clear, especially for your reporting, your court reporting and your everyday reporting, where these might come into play.
Director of Public Prosecution, Shalimar Alihak, outlined the provisions of the Sexual Offences Act. She urged reporters to use the Act to guide the reporting about cases so that victims are protected.
Just use the words back from the Act and do not disclose his identity, because in disclosing the male's identity or the perpetrator's identity, we will end up disclosing the identity of the complainant. Do not put addresses. You can go into what are the general facts.
Ali Haq says it is important to protect the mostly women and children who are victims of these offenses. She says it is the media's job to sensitize the public on what sexual offenses are. She added that it is important that the editors of media houses are aware of the laws that guide reporting, a caution that was also raised by executive member of the Guyana Press Association, the GPA, Dennis Chabral.
We ought to stick to the application of the law and see to what extent there have been infractions and how those ought to be avoided in the future.
The Ministry of Social Protection believes that there is need for robust sensitization of the legislation governing sexual offences and domestic violence. The workshop was facilitated to ensure that those who play a critical role in the process have a better understanding of what they need to do. Paul McAdam for the Government News Brief.
East Bank Demerara educators make recommendations on bettering the education system even as the Commission of Inquiry winds down its consultations. Zenil Williams tells us more.
Yesterday at the Diamond Secondary School, teachers and other stakeholders made recommendations and raised issues of concern at a consultation held by the Commission of Inquiry into the Education System. Concerns shared by teachers include updating of textbooks, better teaching strategies, and a review of the IRR mathematics program. A teacher of the new Diamond Grove Primary says,
I have been seeing a drop in mathematics since the IRI program has been implemented. I do believe that because I passed through the system and all the other teachers and you, sir, have passed through the system whereby we did mathematics in the traditional way, whereby our teachers taught, stood in front of the class, and they really taught an entire lesson. But the problem comes whereby our kids are not allowed to use their brains.
Chairman of the COI, Ed Caesar, notes that the inquiry will try to reach everyone as far as possible.
There are a number of areas that we as a nation must look at if we are going to bring about total development of our country.
Major areas that the inquiry has to revisit are Region 5 and 6, Madhya, Paramakatoy, and Ketu. Caesar is urging all Guyanese to be involved in the future of their children and participate in consultations. The next set of meetings will be held at Hope on the east coast of Demerara. I am Zenil Williams for the Government News Brief.
Youths will soon be afforded the opportunity to practice sports at nights through an initiative of the National Sports Commission. Delon Sanko reports.
Director of Sports Christopher Jones says that the National Sports Commission's Light It Up initiative will kick off in 2017.
It gives an opportunity because obviously you can't participate in any sporting or recreation activity after sundown because there's no light. So the intention is to provide the light in there so that villagers, community, parents will know after 6 o'clock that their son or daughter is in the play field. They'll have that peace of mind because the ground is lit.
Jones notes that work has already begun on the project.
The first illustration that we would have done with that is the National Gymnasium. If you pass there at any time in the night, you will see it's fully illuminated.
The Light It Up campaign will benefit all, according to Jones. The National Sports Commission is seeking support from corporate Guyana towards making this initiative successful.
Corporate Guyana who are willing to come on board to purchase those light fixtures that we would have purchased for the gymnasium, and we will identify and locate various grounds across the country that we will lend support to them by providing these light fixtures to them.
The National Sports Commission previous campaign was titled 50 Shades of Game for 2016, in keeping with the 50th Independence Anniversary celebration. Delon Sanko for the Government News Brief.
As part of its activities for Tourism Awareness Month, the Guyana Tourism Authority GTA conducted a 3-hour training session today for front desk officers to provide effective and efficient management of hospitality services. Director of GTA Indranath Harold Singh says the agency has trained over 650 hospitality workers and will continue the training until the end of 2016. Other activities and events planned for the month include the annual Rock Stonefish Festival, Guyana Restaurant Week, Explore Guyana Magazine launch, South Rupununi Safari, and the Tourism Awards ceremony. Restaurant Week will be launched tomorrow at Cara Lodge and will be different this year with a scavenger hunt. Persons who visit the restaurants on the list will receive clues and points, and at the end of the week, the person with the most points will win spectacular prizes. The Food for a Restaurant Week will allow persons to enjoy fine dining at reduced prices. We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website. We encourage you to subscribe to our website and YouTube channel. You can also like and follow us on Facebook to be updated as the news unfolds. Do join us again tomorrow for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renetta LaFleur. Thank you for watching.